Good evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Friday, April 22nd, 2022. I am Timothy Jaikran. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Local consortium signs contract to build US $300 million shore-based facility for Exxonmobil. No decision yet on national oil company, says Minister Barrett. Hydromet office aims to launch app to fix misconception of inaccurate weather forecasts. Mother of two critical after being stabbed to throat. An international researcher conducting study on traditional Waro canoes in Region 1. Now for the news in detail. Exxonmobil Guyana and NRG Holdings Inc. today signed an agreement for the locally owned consortium to construct a multi-million-dollar shore-based facility at Vredenhoop, West Coast Demerara, to support the oil giant's operations offshore Guyana. Here is Vanu Manikchan with our lead story tonight.
The consortium, which is 85% owned by several Guyanese businesses, is undertaking the US $600 million Vredenhoop Shore Base Incorporated, VESHI. The agreement signed with Exxon on Friday is for the construction of a US $300 million facility at that location to be used by the US oil major. According to President of ExxonMobil Guyana, Alastair Routledge, this shore-based facility will allow the company to do more construction-related works, such as fabrication, right here in Guyana to support its offshore operations.
What VESHI allows us to do is to bring more of the construction activities, the preparation for installation of subsea equipment. Everybody tends to focus on the vessel that's on the surface, the FPSOs, but we put just as much investment on the seabed and into wells below the surface of the sea as we do into that FPSO. And we have started doing some of that fabrication here in country. What this project will do is going to be 10 times that area, 2 heavy load berthing points, much more capacity to do more construction and assembly work in country that will truly be a springboard for the Yellowtail and future projects to increase local content for what we do in the oil and gas industry in the country.
The project will be executed by Europe-based Jandinol Group, which holds the remaining 15% ownership of NRG Holdings Inc. One of the local directors of the consortium, Nicholas Boyer, said construction will commence as early as next month in order to meet its completion timeline in the fourth quarter of 2024. He explained that the Vredenhoop Shore Base Inc. is meant to be the kickstart of bigger development to come in Guyana.
Country needs a development that will increase local content, reduce commercial shipping costs, provide land for service companies who need service companies, and provide land in a place that is not impacting on existing operations neighborhoods. And that's why you'll see that we went through and still doing a complete environmental and social impact assessment.
Boyer further outlined that the project is being financed entirely by private investors, with the only support from government being the lease of the lands at Vredenhoop foreshore, where the facility will be built. Meanwhile, Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat lauded the group of Guyanese businessmen who have initiated this project and urged that similar investments be made to further develop Guyana's infrastructure.
We welcome the government is willing to work with everyone who has an agenda to push development in the country. And that is what we've been doing. From day one, President Ali has been saying, let us form ourselves into partnership, into joint ventures, into consortium, because we don't have the resources to invest. And that is what is happening here today. And we need to see much more of this because there are many more opportunities.
The Vredenhoop shore-based facility is expected to generate some 200 to 300 jobs during the construction phase, and this figure will significantly increase when it is operationalized. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
Vanu Manikchand joins us again to report that Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat has said that the government is yet to make a decision on whether it would go ahead with the establishment of a national oil company if it decides not to go ahead and auction the remaining oil blocks offshore Guyana. Here are the details.
Previously, the PPPC government had disclosed that investing in a national oil company was an option being considered if it does not auction the remaining oil blocks. But according to Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat, during an interview with reporters on the sidelines of an event on Friday, this matter is still under consideration.
And that we are looking at it. So we haven't taken a decision as yet. So there is no conformity on whether we're going or not going. It's still being discussed. So I'm sure when we do take a decision and finalize it, we will obviously put a mechanism in place to insulate it from political interference or arm's length away from politicians. But it's still in discussion.
Only earlier this week, Vice President Dr. Bart Jagdeo disclosed that a decision on Guyana's oil blocks would be made by September. However, the VP noted that government has received significant interest, particularly from Middle Eastern companies, to partner with the state in developing these oil blocks. The idea of a national oil company was first floated under the previous APNU-AFC administration, which in 2018 was considering a model that could have seen Guyanese being able to buy shares in the company in order to benefit directly from the oil and gas sector. As it is, several of Guyana's regional neighbors, Brazil, Venezuela, and even Trinidad and Tobago, have established national oil companies to manage their petroleum resources. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
A new substation is in the pipeline for Eccles on the east bank of Demerara in order to augment the reach of power generated through the Amila Falls Hydropower Project and the Gas to Shore Project. Here are the details from Rupert Sinarain.
The 300-megawatt gas-to-shore plant is expected to achieve commercial operation by the end of 2024. Additionally, the Amila Falls Hydropower Project will be set to generate 165 megawatts of power in 2027. Chief Executive Officer of the Guyana Power and Light, Barrett Dindial, spoke on Thursday at AMCHAM's Energy Round-the-Table discussion, where it was announced that the power will be transmitted as far as the quarantine, with the introduction of the new substation at Eccles, East Bank Demerara.
The power from the 300 megawatts is going to be transmitted from Wales to a new substation at Eccles via two 230 kilovolt transmission lines. From Eccles, there's going to be an interconnection to our existing substation at Sophia, but we hope eventually that the 230 kV transmission would be extended from Eccles actually up to Williamsburg on the quarantine. So the future of the system is going to see bulk power being dropped off not only in Georgetown but in Berbice, the west coast, because there's going to be tremendous development we expect on the west coast. The hydropower connection will be from Amila Falls to the Eccles site. So there's going to be an interconnection of 230 kV with the hydro, the gas to power, major substations in Demerara, East Berbice, and of course West Demerara.
GPL is currently working on a smart grid proposal for the automation of the entire system. It will feature the automation of transmission, distribution, generation, and metering, all spearheaded through a national control center at Eccles.
There's going to be a state-of-the-art system, and the system then, by the time this is completed, we expect to have all our isolated systems in Essequibo, which is the Essequibo Coast, Leg 1, Wakenham, Bartica, and even Linden integrated into the national grid. So quality of power is going to dramatically improve. We're going to be investing specifically in power quality, voltage regulation, and monitoring of the entire system. We're going to have the ability to simulate the system in different configurations and determine what is the best configuration to ensure security and stability.
Dindial has pegged a realistic timeline of 8 years to completely rely on this system. He recognized that the demand for electricity will skyrocket. While the peak demand in the Demerara-Berbice interconnected system is below 140 megawatts, this is expected to climb to 501 megawatts by 2027, a timeline by which all of the current systems will be consolidated to the national grid. Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
Contrary to popular belief, the Hydrometeorological Office in Guyana says it does not have any issue with inaccurate weather forecasts, but rather the problem seems to lie in delayed communication. To address this issue, the agency is looking into the possibility of developing an app to ensure the public gets timely updates on weather forecasts. Amar Prasad reports.
Chief Hydrometeorological Officer at the Hydromet Office, Dr. Garvin Cummings, during an exclusive interview with this newscast on Wednesday, dismissed the perception that the agency is inaccurate with its weather forecasts. According to him, the issue has to do with a lack of communication. As such, he said authorities are looking into the development of an app to ensure the public gets prompt updates on weather forecasts.
Right, so the Hydromet Service is actually actively examining the possibility of developing an app, a Guyanese weather app, that will allow us to really enhance our communication. We have to also strengthen our PR unit to ensure that we can be in constant communication with the Guyanese public, because weather does not sleep. It means we've got to be on there 24/7, being able to communicate. So it perhaps calls for an entire reconfiguration of the organization, looking at what we want to do and how we can reconfigure it to be able to meet those strategic objectives. Yeah, but a weather app is on the cards for Hydromet. Hopefully we can get it done soon, resources permitting.
He explained that if the app is developed, they would like to include a number of features and specific details on local weather.
I suspect that it will not be much different from what you get from anywhere else. What would be the temperatures, what is the forecasted rainfall, make it regional specific or as local as possible, so that you can, if we can give for every community grid, every NDC grid. So you'd want to talk about temperatures, humidity, rainfall amounts, cloud cover, and so all the information that one can actually pack into that sort of thing. But we also want to give an outlook for the next 5 days. And again, this is dynamic. It has to be updated. We like to see that you can have access to satellite imagery, to have access to the radar, our radar, and perhaps some neighboring countries' radar.
He said the goal is to get the app developed and up and running within the next 2 years.
That's really the limiting factor, having the resources, because we know what we want to get on there. There are people in Guyana, I believe, with the capacity to develop apps. We've got a lot of entities in Guyana that have apps that provide information. But a weather app is different because you have to consistently and continuously update it with new information, which might not be the same for some other services that might be less dynamic. So you need to have, but I think we have the capacity. Even if we don't have the capacity nationally, we certainly have partners who can support us in that. But getting the app is the first step, being able to maintain that app over a period of time where people can have the buy-in, where we can have the confidence to use it. That will take some time.
For the evening news, Amar Prasad.
After going days without having a COVID patient in the intensive care unit, the country today saw one individual being admitted for treatment. This is following the detection of 8 new cases of the virus within the last 24 hours, taking the total positives recorded to date to 63,407. 5 persons are hospitalized, 85 are isolating at home, 11 are in institutional quarantine, and 1,228 have died. Recoveries stand at 62,088. Coming up, prisoners who escaped from moving van recaptured, and Guyana not conducting surveillance of COVID cases in animals, says Dr. Anthony.
Oh, how I love my fruta. Wherever you're pouring, I know if you love fruta as much as I do, you'd go for the 1 liter. It's the same great taste, same trusted goodness, packed with vitamins for the whole family. But now it's just a whole lot more for you to enjoy. Only $380 nationwide. Fruta.
Try our virtual sports and win big with so much matches to choose from. Betting starts at $100. Play for your chance to win. Log on to www.superbet.gy or visit any one of our agents to place your bets. Terms and conditions apply. Have fun and play responsibly. Must be 18 and over to play.
Your child needs nutrients every day. Enfagrow has DHA and iron, which supports your child's mental development. Enfagrow has components which cow's milk does not contain. Support your toddler's growth and complement their diet with Enfagrow. Let's fuel the wonder.
This product is not intended to be a substitute for breast milk. Mental development depends on various factors such as stimulation and adequate nutrition. Commercial cow's milk does not contain DHA but contains calcium and other nutrients.
Flavor, food, fun. It's back! GMS's Uncapped Marketplace returns this month with the full support of GTT via MMG and Business Solutions. Come join us for the Agro Processors Exhibition and Food Festival. Enjoy a range of local products made, mixed and blended to perfection. Check out the food court, games and other exciting attractions. It's all happening on April 30 and May 1 from 10 hours at the Guyana National Stadium. Admission absolutely free.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanups, or construction sites. It's simple. Step 1, just pick up the phone and give us a call. Step 2, we deliver the skip bin size of your choice. Step 3, load the skip with all of your junk. And finally, Step 4, we take it all away. It's that simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there's no job that's too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455 or 218-1150.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. Law enforcement officials have recaptured both prisoners who escaped from a moving prison van on Thursday afternoon in the vicinity of Sparran Dam, East Coast, Demerara. One of the escapees, Kevin Valderez of Wismar Housing Scheme Linden, Region 10, Upper Demerara, Berbice, surrendered to the Brigdam Police Station in Georgetown later that afternoon. Valderez, a 26-year-old shoemaker, was today charged for escaping from lawful custody. The accused appeared in the Georgetown Court of Magistrates, Sheridan Isaac Marcus, where he pleaded guilty and was remanded to prison. He will be sentenced on May 4, 2022. The other escapee, 40-year-old Keenan Harry, who was serving a sentence of 1 year's imprisonment for trafficking narcotics, also surrendered today at the Leonora Police Station, West Coast, Demerara. Charges will be instituted against him shortly. Information on the escape was only made available to the media today. When the media inquired about the escape yesterday, the Guyana Prison Service's Public Relations Officer Rajiv Bisnath responded by saying, "Urgent attention to all media outlets. Please note, there is no prison escape at any of the locations. The Guyana Prison Service is asking media houses not to spread any false information." A 64-year-old woman is said to be in critical condition after she was stabbed to the throat on Thursday afternoon under circumstances which are currently unknown. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael reports.
The injured woman has been identified as 64-year-old Sharida Mukshaw of J.C. Chandy Singh Street, Rosehall Town. She was a mother of 2 children, both of whom are residing overseas. She had been living alone for the past 5 years after the passing of her husband. A neighbor spoke with the evening news and related that at about 17 hours on Thursday, he was informed that a woman was injured.
So we come out and we go across. When we go now, we stand up at the dam. And we met one other neighbor, one girl, who tell us that when she passed, the Auntie Jamul, as we call her, so Auntie Jamul called her and tells us somebody jumped in the yard and cut your throat.
A police officer who was just coming home from work was informed and opened the gate and went to the injured woman's assistance.
He go in and search up the place and thing. And immediately he just pick up the lady, put them in the police vehicle and take her away to Port Morant Hospital.
Mukshaw was subsequently transferred to the New Amsterdam Hospital, where she was admitted as a patient in the intensive care unit. Initial investigations suggest that nothing was removed from the woman's house. The incident took place opposite where a businessman lived alone and in February 2000 was discovered in a clump of bushes in an empty plot of land close to his home. In light of these developments, a pensioner who lives alone in the community says she is scared.
Me alone and live here, so you're frightened. 2 times people coming upon me too. Get me all my bag, broke up base and coming upon me, but we never been home. And since then, I'm frightened. The neighbors want me to go for there, I sleep with them. I mean, I got nobody around me.
For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
Scientists have found the coronavirus in 29 kinds of animals, including household pets, livestock, and wildlife. In most cases, humans infect animals and animals don't transmit the virus back to humans. But scientists have expressed concerns about recent research that shows some animals, such as mink and deer, appearing to be able to spread the virus to humans. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony today admitted that local authorities are not conducting surveillance on COVID cases in animals. Here's a look.
In the US and in some other countries, we know that animals can also get infected with COVID. And there have been instances where the deer population in the United States, there were instances where deers in the US got infected. In other countries, there are other types of animals. We haven't really done surveillance of animals here to determine whether or not they are affected by COVID. But looking at the global science, animals can get COVID, and they can also pass it on to others, meaning they can pass it on to humans as well.
Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony on Friday addressing the issue of animals contracting COVID-19. Scientists have identified the virus in a growing list of animals, according to the CDC, including cats, dogs, ferrets, gorillas, hamsters, hippos, hyenas, mice, oysters, pigs, rabbits, and tigers. In many cases, humans spread the coronavirus to pets at home or to wildlife in zoos and sanctuaries. Scientists have noted that this development points to the need to step up monitoring in wild animals before mutation become a problem. Meanwhile, Guyana continues to record declining cases of the virus and hospitalizations. To date, 439,616 persons, or 85.7% of the adult population, have received a first dose of a COVID vaccine, while 338,785, or 66%, are fully inoculated. For the 12, 10, 17 age category, 34,475, or 47.3%, received a first dose, while 25,217, or 34.6%, received 2 jabs. Booster doses stands at 61,347.
Again, I want to encourage people to come and get their booster doses. It's available, and as we keep repeating, these doses would help to protect you.
Lawanda McAllister for the Evening News.
The Region 5 Mahaica-Berbice administration has said that facilities at all schools in that region are being upgraded in time for Monday's reopening. The announcement was made on Thursday by Regional Chairman Vic Chan Ramphal. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael reports.
It was during the statutory meeting of the Region 5 RDC on Thursday that Councillor Carol Nurse disclosed that the Bath Primary is not conducive for learning and urged that immediate steps be put in place to remedy the situation. Her concerns are based on the washroom facilities which children were forced to use during the last term.
I don't know if they have leakages where, whatever, the whole area would be filled with water. And children using the washroom have to walk in that water to use the washroom and then to go back to the class. So you would find that whole day they have on wet shoes. The water connected system there needs to be looked at urgently.
She also described the wash bay sinks, saying they are filthy and children should not be made to use those facilities to wash up.
I am asking if at every turn with the regional administration and the education department, they can do some visitation to some schools, because the school is the school with a name, but when it comes to the administrative part of the school, it's lacking. Because I can say that from since last storm, you have bins there with rubbish overflowing, right? And it's not healthy for people's children. The things that you're asking them when they come in the morning, please wash your hands. They need scrubbing. They're very dirty.
Following the IDC meeting, the Evening News visited the school and found the washroom facilities all intact. In fact, Regional Chairman Vicchand Ramphal said systems are in place that before the commencement of a new school term, the engineering department would visit schools in the region to assess the facilities and, where needed, repair works are carried out.
To ensure that the plumbing, the toilet and other electrical and other facilities are functioning properly. And so, as we are here in this meeting, there are staff on the ground. Also, we have engaged contractors to fix these schools across the region. And I'm sure Bath is one of those that will be fixed.
Ramphal said apart from that, each school in the region has its own management system, which is monitored by the Regional Education Committee.
Head teachers plays an important role. They are the managers of these schools, right? And they have to ensure that, things are in place and communication is being made on a timely manner so we can address these problems. Apart from that, we have the Education Committee, which has started regular visits to schools across the region.
For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
Underscoring the importance of documenting age-old traditions before they fade, an international ethnographic researcher is currently in Region 1, Barima-Waini, where he is conducting a study on the use of canoes among the Waro indigenous groups in Aimbotero and Warapoka. Amar Prasad has the story.
Robert Holtzman is the first researcher stationed at the Aimbotero Research Center, which falls under the control of the Guyana Marine Conservation Society. Holtzman arrived in Guyana on April 9 and is currently stationed at Aimbotero, after which he will travel to Warapoka to conduct his research, which will cover some 16 weeks. In an interview with the Evening News, the ethnographic researcher explained that as globalization affects all indigenous people in Guyana and elsewhere, it is important to record traditions as they are now practiced. He said, I quote, "Although traditional dugout canoes are common now, there is clearly a shift underway towards the use of outbound engines, and it is possible that dugouts could fade away in the not-too-distant future." According to the ethnographic researcher, canoes play a critical role in the lives of the Waro people currently residing in the interior regions of Guyana. The Waro community of Aimbotero is located on the border with Venezuela and is considered the gateway to the Barima-Mora Passage area, which is home to a number of endangered species and more. The researcher also explained that during his time here, he plans to provide advice on the community's efforts to establish itself as a location for research tourism. For the Evening News, Amar Prasad.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbor Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Saturday, April 23 at 23 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, Suburbies River Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Saturday, April 23 at 9 hours 40 for a period of 1.5 hours.
Ramson vows to assist Carifta athletes in planning future, and Pollard did the right thing to retire, says regional commentator. Details of these stories and more in the Sportscast sponsored by Macorp coming up on the other side of the break.
Your child needs nutrients every day. Enfagrow has DHA and iron, which supports your child's mental development. Enfagrow has components which cow's milk does not contain. Support your toddler's growth and complement their diet with Enfagrow. Let's fuel the wonder.
This product is not intended to be a substitute for breast milk. Mental development depends on various factors such as stimulation and adequate nutrition. Commercial cow's milk does not contain DHA but contains calcium and other nutrients.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Satco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store, located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rimeveld.
Oh, how I love my Fruta. Wherever you're pouring, I know if you love Fruta as much as I do, you'd go for the 1 liter. It's the same great taste, same trusted goodness, packed with vitamins for the whole family. But now it's just a whole lot more for you to enjoy. Only $380 nationwide. Fruta.
Credit! Yeah, ready? We are short so far. Look along me tell you buy one generator. Now the picnic are online test and blackout come and cut off everything. Sorry, son. Radhika, we go tomorrow. We go now.
At Sylvie's, we stock products from more than 22 different sectors in mining, construction, food processing, vulcanizing, home improvements, and more.
Are you getting generator?
So this is a 3,000 better star generator. This will work your lights, your fan, your TV, and your fridge.
Well, Abby can buy one for Abby and Abby can buy one for Mommy too.
Yeah, and Mommy could even key start it, because all you have to do is hook up the battery and
Visit us today at 31 High in Hatfield Street, where our friendly and knowledgeable team members are willing to assist you. You can also call us on 227-6243 or WhatsApp us on 623-7755 and shop via our website at www.sylviesonline.com.
Abby go buy one Dalpuri mill,
one plucking machine, one pressure washing machine, one juice dispenser, one engine, one pepper grinding machine, one water pump, one sugar cane juicer, circle sir. We gotta get alright then.